much viewing other content, but you know, it's like it
Yeah, no,
doesn't
no.
matter.
Let's talk about other stuff. I don't want to talk about this stuff.
Okay, we'll wait a couple minutes, then we'll start it. So
I think something. Hey guys, something interesting we should talk about is the Genesis Mini.
Oh. Oh, that's that. I forgot that game's not gonna make it.
Right. Right. I have some thoughts on the Genesis Mini. So
I don't think it's going to succeed because there was already a Chinese knockoff years ago, and that sold very well.
and also think of all of the games Genesises that they did.
Mm-hmm.
If it was a Sega Dreamcast Mini with a better laser than the previous one that doesn't burn the discs every time you use it, then that would sell well. But no, I don't think the Genesis Mini
or the Sega Saturn.
But the only way that this Genesis Mini is going to be successful, no matter how good the emulation is, and I'm sure the emulation is going to be top notch because that's what they need to do to kind of differentiate themselves.
The problem is it's just 40 games.
It has just 40 games, but it's got to be a slam dunk on the games. Meaning it's got to be games that none of the game systems use. Yeah. And right now we do see two games on the list that games never had access to: Castlevania Bloodlines, Space Harrier 2.
Yeah, but the problem is that
Gunstar Heroes, Echo the Dolphin. Yeah. Those are not. They were not. Well, Echo the Dolphin was on some of the game systems.
Yeah, but the main problem is we already got the Sega Collection 1 and 2. You know, I don't know how many games was it for, like $39, but
50 games.
Yeah.
But Castlevania Bloodlines was not on it.
No, but we could just wait till the Konami Collection to get it. I bet it's going to be on it.
Well, that is a good point. Yeah. I mean, because we're getting the Castlevania.
That's assuming that they can retain the rights for that specific one, because some of the Castlevania games is not just Konami anymore.
Oh, we'll see when they announce it. Okay, so I'm gonna start it. Hello, guys. Welcome to the Sunday night podcast. I know it's late. Due to certain circumstances, we're gonna extend it. I'm probably not gonna play Minecraft tonight. I really don't know, but we'll see. We have Grim Olive from Dark Ten Enterprise. We got Post Apocalypse.
Hello.
And Ashley from our channel and Ashley Art Fantasy. Subscribe, like, and share. Also, you can ask us questions and leave comments. And if you don't answer it, and you put in the comments, and you're watching this video now, that live stream is over. We'll probably answer your questions on the next podcast. Hello, MJ. You just say teen. Okay. I have a topic, but I don't want to continue with the Sega one if you want.
Yeah, well, let's finish off the Sega one. So let's talk about the emulation that they're using. It's certainly not games emulators. So they went to M2, and M2 is the company that basically created the Sega Ages collection, and the Sega 3D Classic collection for Nintendo 3DS, if I'm not mistaken. And the Sega Ages collection, that particular emulation is spot on. So they went with a company that really knows how to handle, making the Sega emulation. So I think we're going to see a really spot on emulation with this. And I'm sure you guys know the system has a cartridge port. So we'll have to see what it supports for cartridges. Will it support the 32X? I don't know. They haven't said, but that would be really cool if it did support the 32X. And how does this bode for? And I have to ask this question because the Sega Master System / Mega Drive is one of the most emulated systems. Meaning they create the emulation boxes, and an HD one just came out. You know what that one was called? The new one that just came out, the 1080p one.
What's the question?
The Sega.
This new Sega Master Drive that one the company
Yeah,
made.
the new Master.
Yeah, it's about $125, I believe. But I saw the comparison of it. Well, it's around there.
It looks good.
Yeah, but it's just too expensive for me out of my price range.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm actually looking through some videos trying to figure. Okay.
IGN's saying it's $80.
Oh, no, that's the Genesis Mini.
Yeah.
We're talking about
the new retro console.
Yeah, I should have prepared for this, but I wasn't.
Yeah, it's like this.
The new retro HD console that just came out.
Yeah, the cool thing is that you can pretty much play. They're gonna get all the patches and the cards for it to make everything compatible with it. Right now, it's gonna be compatible with the 32X add-on and also the disc drive.
It's not compatible. Hold on, it's not compatible with 32X right now, but it is compatible with the Sega CD.
Yeah, but it's still, they are going to make it compatible. They even said it. It's going to take some time. They'll release their own version, the cartridge and stuff like that.
Didn't they also say they were going to release a Master System and a Game Gear add-on for it as well?
Yes. Metal Jason actually made a good video review for it. So, if you guys want,
can you go on his channel and just check out what the name of it is? I keep forgetting.
Oh, sure, I guess. Oh my god. Yeah, it's good. I want it, but the problem is that it's like I can't afford it.
Mega SG. I got the name.
Right. There you go. You don't need to have me look it up. Huh? MJ, I'm going to.
What's going on? I'm sorry.
On the chat, MJ was asking me questions. I'm just answering by texting it.
He's like saying he's Filipino, asking if he's Filipino, and now he's asking the sex.
Yeah, I'm just gonna end up just timing him out, giving me these. You go watch other videos and stuff.
Yeah. So anyway, we just ignore stuff like that when it comes in. We don't want it talk. We don't want it in the actual audio for the podcast. It's called the Sega SG, and hey, everyone's giving it great reviews. The thing is $180, and it works with the Sega CD. And as you pointed out, Lance, it's going to be upgraded, or there's going to be add-ons that allow it to work with the 32X and also play Master System games and Game Gear games if it doesn't already. So how does that bode? So how does the Sega Mini bode well in a market where something like this exists? How is the Sega Mini, the Genesis Mini, going to look on a screen when this thing, which is 1080p? I mean, I've seen the screenshots side by side. Man, this thing looks good.
Yeah,
it
looks really good.
Yeah, and the sound on it is really great emulated sound on it as well. So how will the Sega Mini stack up against it? We don't know.
I think we have a good speculation how it's going to go.
What do you think the speculation is?
Well, people like us that have, actual Sega games cartridges for it, compared to $100 less the Mini that has 40 games already in it, and plus you could add a game cartridge on that as well. But I always understand how many people, this is as big as the one that's $180. It's more catered to us.
Does the new Sega Mini have wireless controllers like the SG does?
Yes, they do. They both do.
So it doesn't come with wireless controllers. It comes with. So actually, one of the things I really like that Sega did is, as opposed to Nintendo, you know how the Nintendo controllers for the NES and the Super NES classic systems, they were a proprietary connector. Sega, for the Mini, has gone with a USB connector. So that means that, unfortunately, and I don't understand this, but for the U.S. region Genesis, we're getting a reproduction. we're getting a reproduction of the old big 3-button controller. By the way, which I really do like that controller, I do. Where I think Europe and Japan are getting a reproduction of the smaller 6-button controller, but they've made it so that the system is USB compatible. So all the controls are USB. So you could actually buy the 6-button controllers or buy maybe one of your favorite Retrobit reproduction controllers. And by the way, Retrobit makes great Genesis reproduction controllers. And you could buy one of their USB variants and use it on this system. And I say, I like that. Good job to Sega for going with, the USB capability on the controllers, where because Nintendo didn't want you buying third-party stuff, they went with the proprietary, what is it? It's the Wii connector, right? Because the connector they used on the classics was the same type of connector that the Wii used, which is proprietary. It means you have to get the controllers from Nintendo or an authorized dealer of Nintendo. It is what it is. And, hey, the Nintendo Classic was a great little thing. They did a great job on it, so I'm not knocking them for it. But, Nintendo's gonna do stuff like that so that everything stays in-house.
What's the Sega saying? Sega does, Nintendo
don't. That's true. That's the old 90s commercial. I like it. On Dark Titan, we've kind of reversed that. We've said Nintendo does what Sony doesn't. We're dealing with the censorship stuff. We've used that a couple times on videos as a catchphrase, and people have caught on to it, which is really cool. They've been like, that's from the old Sega Nintendo commercial. So I think it's pretty cool that people kind of remember that. I'm sure every generation Xer will remember that because we saw those commercials as when we were teenagers or little kids.
Or the older millennials.
Or the older millennials, exactly. I'm just gonna say I'm kind of excited. I think that this is gonna be a neat little collectible. I'm gonna buy a Sega Mini or a Sega Classic, whatever they're gonna call it.
Post, we can eat your kidney to buy them.
Yeah.
I think $80 is a little expensive. And let me just add in what one of my concerns is about the price. With all of the at-games clone systems that have been released, and their price points being much lower than this, $40, $30, is this Sega Mini system, the Sega Classic, is it going to be put on the same shelf as the at-game systems? Because if it is, then it's going to fail. Because I'll tell you why. I'll tell you what my thinking is. Okay, the price point is a problem for casual players that don't have any idea of the controversy behind ad games, and I'll call it a controversy, but not just a controversy, but the absolute crap product that ad games produces. They're just going to see price point, and they're not going to know the difference.
Well, usually the parents are buying it for their kids. So.
Yeah, they're going to say, "Oh, well, that one's $30 and it has 70 games," not knowing that it has really bad the sound on it, really badly emulated. It has slowdown. It has frame tearing and all of this stuff that sucks. Where the Sega Mini might not have any of that. The other thing that's going to be cool, but the only thing for me, one of the things that's going to be cool for me about the Sega Mini again is the box. I really like the box. It says Genesis. It looks like the old, the first release of the Genesis. I really like the box as a collectible.
But don't you like my box on my PlayStation Classic? It's just like when PS1 box came out.
You mean the one you're gonna smash?
No.
That we're gonna burn.
No, it's just there to taunt Grim to his grave when he.
For any of the OG people out there, remember the good old days where we had to figure out to ghetto rig the original Genesis to take the Master System, the CD all at the same time while still using the stereo.
Yeah.
That's like 6 chords right there. 6 chords.
Yeah, the good old times. The good old times. One of the systems I don't own, believe it or not, is the Sega X. That was the last one that came out, where it had the console port and the Sega CD in the one system. I still want one of those. I still want one of those. I wonder how much they cost.
I have the first gen Sega Genesis, but I never had a chance to get the disc drive for it because like over $100. I'm like, next time. And
Yeah, I have.
like, next time.
I have a 32X. I have a couple Sega CDs, and I believe they're all working. But you know, they had that one system, the last system they made, and it basically was one little block. It looked like a CD player, actually, like a long CD player. It had the Sega CD in the front, cartridge port in the back, and it actually had a little LCD screen on the front so that you could change tracks on the CD and whatnot. And it played music CDs as well.
It's a shame that they don't make consoles anymore, because back in the day, in a hardware perspective, they were ahead of their time.
They were. The Dreamcast was definitely ahead of its time.
So was the Genesis, because it was the first console to introduce an adapter to higher resolution games like the 32X.
Yeah, and that was their answer for the next generation. But you know that story is all convoluted, right? Because they released the 32X, and then literally like 6 months later they released the Saturn.
Well, originally the Saturn wasn't even supposed to release in America. The guy that was in charge of Sega America, he was the one responsible for getting them to the point where they were toe on toe in the market with Nintendo. But the thing is, Sega Japan chooses not to listen to anybody. They're very traditional, and they don't care what this guy says, even though he was the one responsible for getting them to that point. And ultimately, that was their downfall in the end.
Well, I have the Saturn. I have the Dreamcast.
Yeah.
I have a lot of Japanese Saturn games.
And did you know that the person that made the schematics for the Nintendo 64 went to Genesis before he went to Nintendo?
Yeah.
So
they turned down his design?
Well, the guy from Sega America wanted the design, but Sega Japan was like, no, we're going to do our own thing. And then the guy went to Nintendo, and then they came out with the Nintendo 64. And you know how like Sony went to Nintendo first to try and do a disc drive for the Super Nintendo?
Yes.
And then they kind of fell off and then didn't do anything. Well, for revenge, Sony went to Sega and then proposed the PlayStation 2. And then they were like, no. So that's 2 times that they failed themselves, because those 2 systems were the ones that, you know, took them off the market.
That is true.
And then as far as the Sega Dreamcast, yeah, that was very, you know, ahead of its time. It was one of the first mainstream consoles to really push online play. Like, for example, there was Quake. If you played Quake on the Sega Dreamcast, you could play with people on the PC on servers and stuff like that.
Yeah, they had every Dreamcast shipped with an internal modem. I remember, you know, fond memories of playing Phantasy Star Online on the Dreamcast, and that was just so much fun, you know. And it wasn't even the first MMO style game I played. I remember playing dial-up back in the late '90s, Ultima Online, because I was a huge Ultima fan from the early '80s since I was a little kid. And when Ultima Online came out, wow, I was so into that. Even though technically it wasn't even the first MMO, because America Online's AD&D Neverwinter Nights was actually the first, technically the first MMO ever. I mean, I'm not talking about, you know, old text mods from the 80s and the 70s. I'm just referring to like graphical ones. Because I mean, even I played MUDs back in like the 80s. I don't know if you guys know what MUDs are, multi-user dungeons. Those were text-based dungeons that people played over Unix machines, which was really cool. You know, I remember all that. And of course, in 1997, when StarCraft came out, you know, I was on Battlenet all the time. I can't believe how old Battlenet is. It's crazy, you know. But it's a very interesting history post about how like these designers, like especially in the 1990s, right? They would go from company to company, and you know the story of Nintendo and Sony, and how the Sony PlayStation was a result of Nintendo subbing. So I'm sorry, I can't speak today because I'm not feeling well. I apologize, everyone. It was a result of Nintendo snubbing Sony, right? So Sony was like, "Hey, we have this. Let's just release it." You know? Do you think, folks? I have a question for you. Do you think that Sony just miscalculated on the Dreamcast and just didn't foresee what the PlayStation 2 would do? Because technically, right, the PlayStation 2 buried the Dreamcast and pretty much ended the hardware era for Sega. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, the Dreamcast sold terribly in Japan. It did actually much better in the United States, but none of these numbers meant anything because the PlayStation just literally buried it.
Because right before the Dreamcast launched, let me look up his name real quick. Because I keep mentioning him and I'm not saying his name, which is probably confusing people.
I never had a Dreamcast until I went to Japan, so I don't know nothing.
I still haven't plugged it in or
James,
tested it out.
James Hambert left Sega right before the Dreamcast launched, so they didn't have anybody directing the marketing for Sega of America. So when the Dreamcast launched, it was actually supposed to be delayed for a month, and then there was no communication with like the main retailers, and then the retailers ended up selling it early.
So that early relaunch, you think really hurt it? You think it hurt it?
Yes. Because the lack of communication with the main retailers. How can you sell a product properly if there was zero communication?
Now, the question is, was that everywhere? Because I'll tell you, I was an assistant manager at EB Games, aka GameStop today, back when it launched, and I actually worked the midnight launch. 9/9/99 is when we launched it, and I was there for that midnight launch. Oh my God, so long ago, right? And I remember that. But I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ashley.
I was 10 years old back then.
Hey, but at least you were alive.
Yeah.
At least you were alive. Yeah, no, I was there. I was probably like, I think I was like 20 years old or 19 or something.
You'd be in your 30s.
What?
You should be in your 30s.
Not 99. I wasn't in my 30s.
He was like 20.
20s.
He was 20.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
No, he was about 5.4 million years old.
Right. Right. I think I was 20 years. I was 20 years old when it was launched. But yeah, anyway, 9/9/99, and I don't know why. You know, they wanted. It was like a marketing tool for them. Get it out on 9/9/99. So I wonder if, from what you're saying, did they rush the launch to get it out on 9/9/99 just so that they could say it launched on that day?
Most likely.
Yeah.
But you know, another question, talking about Dreamcast technology, right? Do you think that they just kind of missed the boat on the DVD technology? Because sure, when the Dreamcast was being designed, DVD tech was very expensive and was very new. And they didn't have direct access to it, so they would have had to pay a premium for it. Where Sony, they owned it, right? It was theirs, so they didn't necessarily have to pay a premium to put DVD technology into the PS2. So I wonder, right?
It's only CD.
It was called.
It was CDI.
Yeah, it was CDI.
It wasn't DVD yet.
So it used PlayStation 1 used the same format that the PCs used for CD-ROM, because DVD certainly didn't exist when the PlayStation 1 came out. It wasn't a market technology.
PS2.
But when the PS2 came out, it was. It was
Yeah, it was DVD.
Yeah, it was a very new technology, but
I think
but Sony owned it, right? Sony owned the DVD technology, so for them to incorporate it into a game system was very cheap, and we see that with the GameCube, right? Because the GameCube came out after the PS2, and the GameCube
was tiny little disc.
Yeah, the GameCube was certainly more powerful than the PS2, but didn't sell as well, and it didn't have
PS2 had more games.
Oh, way more games.
I don't know.
And then, of course, the Xbox One came out, and they used DVD technology in that. I mean, but think about how much money Microsoft had, so they probably got a really good licensing deal from Sony for the DVD technology, just like
for Blu-ray, yeah.
Well, back then, I mean, and then today, with Microsoft, they have a really great deal with, I'm sure, a really good deal with Sony for the Blu-ray technology. Which, as we said last time, why would Microsoft want to go with the all digital editions of the Xbox Ones? Why? So they don't have to pay any royalties to Sony over the damn Blu-rays, which they are doing. But I'm sure it's not an astronomical amount of money, but it's still something. It's still giving money to competitors.
Small.
I think I want to ask something. Like, one of the main thing, I think Dreamcast lost money because of the games itself. Because
they had limited games. There was way more games in Japan that never made it over.
No, it's not that. It's not that. It's just that, like for the PS1 when the CD came out, you gotta get a mod chip inside of it to play burned games. For the Dreamcast, you don't. You just burn it into a disc and it plays it for you just like that.
Yes, but keep in mind that was only half the Dreamcast. So half of the it's weird. It's really weird that this happened, but I would say 50% of the Dreamcast models could just play burnt games. It had no copy protection on it. Yeah. And then there's a whole run of Dreamcasts that can't play burnt games. Like, I actually have one of each. I have one that can play burnt games, and I have one that can't play burnt games. But I mean, that was really a snafu on their part, right?
Yeah, Blockbuster, rented or bought from a friend, and just burned to a disc. I just pop it in.
And, I know there was a lot of games over in Japan for the Dreamcast that didn't make it to the United States, but I mean, still, I'm pretty sure the Dreamcast sold better in the United States than it did in Japan.
A hacked Dreamcast can play PS2 games better than the PS2.
Is that true?
Yeah, it's true.
That would be interesting.
Which is another one of its flaws was when the Dreamcast came out. Because of how new the technology was, not a lot of developers were able to produce the stuff on time, so a lot of them dropped it.
Well, I never had
which is a shame.
Later on, I didn't pick it up as a kid.
When it came out, I was beside myself about the fact that there was a modem in it, and logging into Phantasy Star Online was awesome. Not that I wasn't already doing that on the PC. Like I said, I was playing on Battlenet. I was playing Ultima Online, and then I played some EverQuest when it came out, which was around the same time, and it was pretty cool. But I think it was brilliant with the Xbox, the original Xbox launching with the Ethernet adapter in the system, where even the PS2 didn't do that. The PS2 didn't launch with an Ethernet adapter actually in it until the Slim came out.
Although you can buy an adapter that slides within it.
A brick.
Yeah, it's a brick.
Right, the brick that
and which in a way, in hindsight, was a good idea because people today are modding the original PlayStation 2 and using that little slot there for hard drives and stuff.
Mm.
I had my original PS2 from when I was a kid.
And also I have the 4 controller adapter. You can get 2 of those and play 8-player on Time Splinter on it.
Yeah, play that dirt rally game in ATVs.
Yeah, not ATV, just one. We had a I believe it was a 75-inch TV. So
No, not ATV. ATV, the vehicle.
Oh.
Oh, hey, I just noticed Cinder was in the chat.
Hello, Cinder Shadow. I know. I answered the question for him. You guys, I don't want to interrupt.
Yeah, I mean, it's just very interesting, like how all of that stuff went down with that technology, and companies saying no to prototypes, and then it goes to another company. Going back to what happened with Nintendo and Sony, and how literally Nintendo kind of in many ways made the PlayStation, right? Because without Nintendo doing what they did, there'd be no PlayStation.
Yeah.
But hey, a game me and Lance really love, StarCraft, right? You know what the story behind that is, right? You know what StarCraft was originally.
It was supposed to be a Warhammer?
Yeah, it was supposed to be a Warhammer game. So Blizzard designed, based upon the Warcraft 2 engine, they designed StarCraft. They designed like a base game, and they presented it to Games Workshop, and Games Workshop had actually said, "Hey, we really love your Warcraft 2. Could you design us a game?" And then Games Workshop said, "Oh no, you know what? We're going to go in-house, and sorry about that." And StarCraft was born, and I gotta thank Games Workshop because I love StarCraft. I even love the story. I wish that there was more that they did with the StarCraft story because I think it's a really cool universe. But I thank Games Workshop for saying no to StarCraft because we wouldn't have StarCraft today. And we've seen how all of the Warcraft games over the years have had limited success. I'm not saying that none of them have succeeded, and I'm not saying that all of them have been bad, but none of them have been able to do what StarCraft did and become phenomena that it is, right? Because if you think about it, I'm not going to say StarCraft invented the esports because you could argue esports have existed all the way back to the 1970s. With I don't know if you guys follow Billy Mitchell and the story of the old school arcade guys.
No.
Because I'd say that esports kind of really started with them, going all the way back to the 1970s. But as far as modern esports is concerned, StarCraft really is the father of modern esports.
Well, I know what to put up my bookshelves now, just to give you more enticing. Thrall.
What are you gonna put up?
Get the Sega Act games and just put up on the bookshelf, not open,
Oh,
just staring at you.
And they're cheap. Games that I don't play.
And they're cheap too, so I can get all of their products. Just put it up there, just next to the PlayStation Classic.
Oh man, I just saw a comment from the one guy. I just saw a comment from the one guy in chat, and I mean that is a great point right there. I mean it's a give and take, right? So yeah,
Warhammer Fantasy. 40K was inspired. Was StarCraft.
No. I mean, I'm sure one guy knows that. Yeah, Warhammer, Warcraft was it was inspired by Warhammer. Yeah, I mean that is a great point. So it was a give and take. So Warcraft was inspired by Fantasy Warhammer, and then they went to design StarCraft for Games Workshop for Warhammer 40K, and then we all know the story from there.
Well, they have their good Warhammer games I like to play. The Total War series, I got 2 a while ago.
That's what I was saying, Lance. That I'm in no way,
very good.
Yeah, I'm in no way going to claim that the Warhammer games failed. They didn't. They didn't fail at all. They had some really good quality games, but none of them have done what StarCraft did.
Yeah.
None of them have ever gotten the notoriety of StarCraft.
Yeah.
And the fact that StarCraft, and again, I'm going to say it kind of bore the modern day version of the modern day version of esports.
I'm gonna answer the one guy question. Dawn of War was good. Then you gotta get the 3 other expansions. Once you got to the last expansion, you got the Necron, it's like game over for everything. I want to go back into getting Warhammer miniatures again, but they're so damn expensive.
Get them used.
I try get even they're expensive. They're like, oh, I want $100 for this, 5-piece Marine. I'm like, that's painted. I'm like, it's worth $20. I'm like, it's painted. I'm like, your paint job sucks. I'll give you $20.
Hey, you can also you're really good at painting miniatures, Lance. So you can always just rebase it and paint it again.
Yeah, I'm not paying $100 for a crappy paint job.
Right. You just want to buy it. Right. You just want to buy it. Yeah, you just want to buy it for the piece.
And I just repainted myself. Like I'm getting a 600 point Chaos Marine from Ashley's friend that he wants to sell it to me. Nice. I looked at it, I'm like, okay, I can do 150 on all those because altogether it's actually worth about $450. And the paint job is decent, but I told her I'm gonna repaint the whole thing because I don't know why he painted everything like different shades of red. Everything's just basically just different shades of red. I'm like, yeah, that's gonna hurt my eyes and doesn't have any much detail, so I had to literally get solutions to take all that acrylic paint off.
Yeah.
Did you know, technically, if you're playing a game of Warhammer, you can use miniatures from other games, but you have to declare it to your opponent what specific troop that is.
Yeah.
And you have to have the book for it.
And you got also the weapons. If you're using grenades, also your sorcerer spells abilities, because each weapons they use and stuff will actually will differentiate from the points of your army point system as well.
I mean, that's pretty cool. I like that you can do that. And you know
people are also 3D printing their own figures, but they're not coming out as good.
Yeah, because they're not using a 0.2 and they got to change the speed for it. A lot of the default on the 3D printer has a certain speed. You got to slow down the speed because the smaller it is, the slower the speed has to be, and finer the point it's going to have to be. And also they got to test it. Also they got to go back to the software because I had to learn this from someone, and they have to reconfigure it for their machines. But a lot of times you get the file for it, it's not configured for your machine. So a lot of times they do it, it's very crappy. So you got to go back in there and redo it, a whole, like fine comb everything and do a test run on it.
There's no standard in 3D printing yet.
Yeah.
So there will be in the future. And 3D printing, I think, is going to be huge, but we're just not quite there yet. But it'll get there. It'll get there.
Will 3D print you another kidney holsters? Just need that to buy the Sega stuff.
Oh man. Hey, I love Warhammer. I think Warhammer is
easily. Like you gotta paint your own pieces. It's fun painting your own Legion. No, it's not. It costs money.
It's so fun. It's part of the fun, man.
I love to paint.
Yeah, it costs money too. Your paint's more than mine. I have, I'm gonna go a little bit off thing that's okay with you. Just take a few minutes, Grim.
A what?
I'm gonna take a few minutes off. I'm gonna explain about the painting and stuff for this channel that we did. We will be putting into the RPG channels soon, hopefully soon. Painting, because this channel earlier videos, I just last week I just put out the how to paint an Umber Hulk video because I waited a month for this other RPG channel to be up to put it in. But when it's up, I'm gonna put a painting video on that channel. This week's gonna be Earth Elemental to give you guys a preview. It's just that it costs a lot of money. It's just that I like to do a lot of space and shadow and weathering paint, and that takes a lot, and it takes a lot of time. And with me having my disability and stuff, I only can spend at least 10 minutes at a time on a miniature at a time, because I will actually no my body will shake. I can't hold the paintbrush that well. So yeah, that is one of the things. But we are doing more paint videos. But the problem is that if we have more of if the YouTube start generating more funding for it, I'll do more painting video. because I get a lot of views on reviewing miniature boxes and painting boxes as well. And that's like one of my most disliked and liked videos out of all my videos so far right now.
Well, hopefully we can turn the RPG channel to something good.
Yeah.
What brand paint do you use?
I use Citadel on MS. Let me see here. I use Citadel. Citadel is the most expensive, but very high quality. I use mostly MSP type paint. It's acrylic base, but I also work with Citadel as well because I do mix and match paints. And I do it, and I tell them how many drops and stuff of water to weather it or wash it stuff as well.
Have you ever used their own paint before?
What?
For Warhammer?
Yeah, I have the Citadel. They're the most expensive. These are like $6 to $8. Sometimes they can go for 12 to 14. They're expensive.
But
these are like $3 a bottle. It has a lot more, but the Warhammer, the Gamer Workshop paint, they're more high quality paint.
Have you ever used Vallejo?
Vallejo, is that the generic one they use that for airbrushing?
No. It's more oil based than water.
I don't use. I tried oil based on
oil
miniatures.
Takes forever to dry.
It's not only that. It's just that I tried oil base on it. Is a lot of problems with it because it doesn't like it just doesn't dry. You got to put a certain amount of effort onto it. You can't get much detail on a metal figurine, but a plastic one, yes. But acrylic does not work well with plastic, but works well with pewter. So it's one of those things.
The thing is, with oils, you have to do acrylic underbase.
Yeah, I use those cheap model paint car oil based paint. I tried it, I didn't like it, so I went with acrylic. It's a lot easier to work with. It's less messier. I don't get it, if I get it anywhere, it's easy to clean up, stuff like that.
The other problem with the oil paints, they stink so bad.
Yeah, but I don't really use oil. I only use acrylic. I've been using acrylic for a long time, and I'll never go back to oil based on it. I only use oil if it's a mech. If I work on a mech or a starship, that's different. Not small figurines. But if it's a starship or a model, I'll use oil. But for acrylic base, a lot more smaller ones.
Lance hates it when I oil paint.
That your oil paint and our oil paints are totally different.
My oil paint stinks to high heaven.
Okay, Cinder, give us.
So I think I think it's fun and all, but Warhammer's expensive, and I'd have to pick between Magic, the Gathering, and Warhammer. And Magic the Gathering, which has been something that's been part of my life for so long, I wouldn't give it up for Warhammer. Plus, it's much easier to store cards than figures, of course. Although I have a lot of figures for D&D, but most of them are plastic, so I don't have to worry about them. I just have to throw them in a box. You can just put
them in a box.
You can actually, if you actually get the like those D&D booster, like randomized booster set like that, like a pack.
Yeah.
Some of those are worth money. I have the Tiamat aspect of Tiamat that's going for about almost $250 right now.
Yeah, I have the Wizards of the Coast Dragon set. Like they did a little special set with these dragons in it, and I have two of them.
Did you
and
get?
It was a lot of money. I had got them when I owned the store.
Did you get the Colossal Red Dragon?
Yes, I did get a Colossal Red Dragon.
Is it still sealed in the box?
Still sealed in the box, somewhere buried.
$600 right there.
Is it 600? I'll have to check into
that. Miniatures. I know prices of miniature, what they go for, because I used to sell a lot of miniatures and paint them and sell them for money. But usually, the bigger they are, or the more pervy ones, because I have a topless maid figurine that goes for about $50 right now.
Hold on, Lance. Post, you see the comment in chat? I quit MTG after Nexus. I mean, he's referring to Nexus of Fate. But keep in mind, if you play Arena, Nexus of Fate has been banned, so you don't have to worry about Nexus of Fate in Arena. And I don't know how effective Nexus of Fate really is outside of Arena. It's a great card. It's good in Commander. Is it really a standard staple? No, it's not. It doesn't even see play of Legacy. I mean, I think people's complaints about Nexus of Fate was really about the kind of the infinite kind of combos and problems that it caused in Arena, but they banned it out of Arena, so it's no longer there. So I don't think Nexus of Fate is really that big of a problem. I wouldn't have. I understand if someone wants to leave Magic, but I would not have quit over Nexus of Fate. By the way, which I own 2 of. It's a nice shiny card. I like the shiny Nexus of Fate.
I'll light it on fire for you.
What? 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 You gonna light it on fire? What?
I was thinking about getting some magic cards in it and then get like a good printed of it, like a black lotus on top of it, and just light it on live. Like,
yeah.
No.
You were telling me you were gonna do that, and you would make me cry. I mean, why? But like, a black lotus is the price of a car. Why would you do that? Just buy a car with it.
No, like, for me, it's just I like to see people suffer.
Oh my God! He just mentioned about Shutterrock and Hearthstone. Yep. I haven't played Hearthstone in a while, but
the new set came out for
terrible.
it. I heard it.
Yeah, I think the new set for Hearthstone's not bad. I'm not a huge Hearthstone player, but
I'm probably gonna play it again. I usually do it every time a new expansion set comes in.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's it. But other than that, it's like
I just don't want to put the time into trying to grind out the cards, and I don't want to spend money in Hearthstone.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll definitely put the time into grinding out cards on Arena because I don't want to spend money on Arena, but I'm not going to put the time into grinding out cards in Hearthstone.
Ashley, can you turn on your camera? It's almost an hour. I'm gonna have to use the restroom. You guys can start the next topic, or we can take a little 5-minute break.
The next topic
is YouTubers.
The next topic, we'll end with that one. The next topic is, should all games have easy mode?
No.
There should be a normal mode, and then there should be a hard mode. That's
okay. Right. I mean, that's the argument some people are making. I don't know if you guys have caught videos about this. Did you guys catch Vera's video on Dark Titan Enterprises about it? We worked on that video together, and it depends on the game, and that's kind of the conclusion we came to. Right?
I always play on normal, and then sometimes I go for a hard mode if I want a challenge.
But think about this in post. Why don't you throw in your 2 cents after I'm done here? Some games, the level of hardness of the game is part of the narrative of the game. So that if you put an easy mode in a game, it might take away from the story or just the overall presentation of the game. So, adding that in is actually defeating or deflating what you created. And hey, if a game is too hard for a player, that's fine. There's a lot of games out there, and there's a lot of games that do have easy modes that the game was designed around being able to have an easy mode. But when you have a game like Dark Souls that wasn't designed to have an easy mode, that the whole structure of the game, the design, the story, the narrative is about how hard the game is, don't you believe that it just would completely take away from the game to put an easy mode in it? So a game like that shouldn't have an easy mode. You take it as it is, and if the game isn't for you, we live in a world where there's so many games, you move on to another game, Hey.
Plus, like with a game like Dark Souls, there's Easter eggs and stuff that are added. And if the game was too easy, then those Easter eggs are kind of irrelevant. Like, for example, in Dark Souls 2, there's a big spider boss in a cave. If you hit the spider's face for a certain amount of damage over time, the eyes of the spider falls off and it kind of stays in one place the entire time.
Great point.
Never played Dark Souls.
And in the beginning of the game, I forget the name of the bosses, but there was this one boss with it it's kind of floating, and he has a shield and sword right in the beginning of the game, and he's on top of a bridge. The second encounter you have with him, and there's 2 ballistas right there. The point of the ballistas to be there is for you to abuse them. You can one-shot the guy with the ballistas if you timed the block right, and then run over to the ballista while he's stunned.
Yeah, well, that would seem like it defeats the whole purpose of them putting that stuff in there if you put the easy mode in, right? Hey, I'll throw this out there. There's a lot of games, if you throw the easy mode into it, you might as well not even play the game. You might as well just not buy it and go online and just watch the cinematics, because we all know that all the cinematics for most games are usually condensed into a movie and then put on YouTube. For example, like all of the arguments right now about Mortal Kombat 11 and changing character designs and yada yada, not getting into that particular argument for or against, but there's some people that are out there saying, well, I don't care. It has a really cool story. I'm just going to play it for the story. And a lot of responses I've seen, which I think are completely valid, are people saying, well, hey, if you're just going to play it for the story, don't play the game. Just wait for all of the cinematics to be compiled into a movie and uploaded to YouTube. And there you go. You get the whole story. You can watch it like it's a cartoon. And this is something that I did with Injustice 2, right? I loved Injustice 1. I thought Injustice 1 was a great game. Injustice 2, I thought was a really clunky combat system. I thought some of the combos weren't that great. Wasn't overly impressed with it, so I didn't really play through it.
There wasn't very good balancing too when it comes to like competitive.
That is also a great point. Injustice 2 never made it kind of into the esports scene. But you know what I did? I wanted to know the overall story of Injustice 2 out of the video game. I had perused the comic books for Injustice 2, so I kind of had an idea what the story was. And of course, it was a continuation of Injustice 1. But I just watched the compiled cinematic movie of Injustice 2 on YouTube. And there it was. I was done. I was like, yep, there's the story. Don't need to play it because the combat system's not for me. And hey, that's what people are telling other people about Mortal Kombat 11. Like,
or Graham, you can buy it and just leave it on the shelf to collect dust and just watch YouTube and watch YouTube.
Well, not
YouTube for that Dissidia, that Final Fantasy fighting game.
The
fighting system's crap.
Oh yeah, Dissidia, the fighting system is really bad.
So I just watched the cinematic on YouTube. Like, oh, so this is the story. Neat story.
How they made it for this to get the story in to grind like hell. I think it's very repetitive, and I think it's a pretty bad game. Like for me, I have Demon Soul. I have all the Dark Souls. I have Bloodborne. I'm also gonna be mailing you the extra copy of the Bloodborne to you.
Yes, thank you. By the way, Lance is going to be mailing me his extra copy of Bloodborne, which I can't wait to play.
Yeah, I try it. I can actually able to beat Dark Souls only because only way I know I can beat the game if I watch other people how to beat the boss, because I don't have that mentality like trying to figure out how to beat the boss. I just want to get it done and over with. That's the only way I can beat the game.
It's also a lot of patience, Lance. So maybe you just don't have the patience to basically go in and die 175 times.
Yeah, no.
You figure out how to hit it.
I become the Hulk and I need to buy a new controller.
He still hasn't even beat Kingdom Hearts 3.
That game sucks. I'm sorry. I did not like Kingdom Hearts 3 at all. I think the story sucked.
The story's not finished yet.
Even though the Kingdom Hearts 3 generally it sucked. I thought it was really bad.
Do you mean there's going to be a DLC add-on, like a whole nother game add to it?
Yes.
There's DLC, yeah.
There's DLC. Yep.
When's that coming?
I don't
think they're going to announce it in the summertime.
Okay, so
let me double check.
But other than that, I will love to play it through. I just gotta watch all like the Shadow of the Colossus. Some of the bosses I have to watch YouTube how to beat it. And
Shadow of the Colossus was a great game.
It's a good game. I like the remade version of it on the PS4.
It deserves a sequel.
I don't think they're going to make a sequel for it. But it's a good game. It's just some like I think like 2 or 3 of the bosses I gotta watch it because I couldn't figure out after like 2-3 hours playing it. Like, I have to watch how you beat it. And I look at it, it's like I feel so stupid. Okay, and then I just kill it. So a lot of times I'm just gonna have to like a lot of these games. It's basically just not me streaming it. It's just me recording it and me beating it. That's basically how it's gonna be.
And that's fine. So I think we're all kind of in agreement, right?
Mm-hmm.
Easy modes are for certain types of games, and there are some games that just shouldn't have an easy mode because how hard the game
a lot of games that
is,
don't.
yeah, how hard the game is part of the narrative of the game. It's part of the structure of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And if you take that out, then it's literally a different game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you design a game from the ground up to have an easy mode, let me use an example of one that just came out.
Baldur's Gate.
Baldur's Gate, yes, does have an easy mode.
No, I mean Baldur's Gate. Now, how many times have you died in Baldur's Gate?
A lot, but I always played on normal. I like to play the Baldur's Gate Affinity engine games using normal because if you use normal, it's using the complete dead center D&D rules.
Yeah, no. You're just going off the question. Like, how many times you died a lot, right?
Right, because you die a lot in D&D.
Yeah, and it's the same thing on this. You know, there's reviews for these games and stuff like that you will die a lot. And it's like a lot of times, you know, people don't look at the reviews for these games. Now we have, you know, we used to be Game Informers, and now it's like we can get the reviews on Google or YouTube and stuff. You will die a lot. You know, a lot of times people think like, you know what, I'm a gamer. You know, it's like a lot of times people don't understand there's a between a actual gamer and a casual gamer. For me, I'm like in between because I do play both the games, and if I like the game, I'll play it through. If I don't, I just put it up in the shelf. It's a lot of those things, like a lot of these casual gamers think that, you know, they're entitled to it. It's like, no, game is a game. There's for a challenge. You know, it's there to entertain you. Yeah, there'll be times you get pissed off about it, but other than that, did you have fun playing it though? And
right.
Ultimately, in the end.
I was just trying to add though that you can design certain games from the ground up to have different hardness modes, and one of those that just came out is the Resident Evil 2 remake.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that game.
I played that on easy because I hate puzzles.
I didn't know it was on easy because I beat it and I'm like, and
Grim's
it's easy. He's like,
you played it on assisted, and I have to say the game is not that great on assisted. You've taken out half the game. I'm sorry.
I beat it. I know the story. I'm good.
Yeah, playing it on normal is the best way to go. But hey, look, they were still able to present the story and the narrative of the game with having an easy mode because they designed it from the ground up. The Dark Souls games, the FromSoft games, are not designed that way. The fact that they're hard is the narrative of the game.
Play Mario 1.
If you make it easy, then you're just taking out the game out of the game. I don't know how else to say it. You know, I wish I had better words, but you know what I'm getting at.
And the fact that the Dark Souls games have a new game plus option.
Mm.
You know, like if you even want a bigger challenge.
Yeah.
So, you know, a couple other tidbits here. You know that Octopath Traveler is coming out for the PC?
Yeah, I have it. I still have it on the Switch. I still haven't really played it through, though.
Hey, everyone's loved it. I haven't played it yet, but I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, I thought that was interesting. I mean, Square Enix is a company that's been known to release a lot of their games on the PC, so that's pretty cool. Why not, right?
This time you'll be happy because, you know, if they have extra, you know, content on the PC all at once, you don't have to worry about it anymore. Just like your Dragon Quest 11.
I'm so salty that they're releasing a copy on the Switch that has extra content. Oh,
and guess who's going to get it?
I don't want to buy it again. Dragon Quest 11 is such a great game. I can't. Oh God, it's just annoying.
I guess who's going to get it and put it right next to PlayStation Classic just to stare at you?
You know,
you would. You're mean. You know a game though I did rebuy because I love the game so much. Okay, I love the game so much that I rebought it, which was um, basically I rebought Near Automata. I I I rebought it. I rebought the Game of the Year edition or Game of the Your edition. How do they pronounce it? How?
YIER?
Yeah, I got
Alright.
that because it literally has all of the content for Near Automata, and I'm going through that game again, and it's so much fun. I love Near Automata. My two favorite games in 2017, hands down, Near Automata, Horizon Zero Dawn. And by the way, have you heard the rumors? Horizon Zero Dawn 2 for the PS5. That's getting me excited right there. I can't wait for that.
First let's wait when the PS5.
I'm tired
Again,
of
now
Nier
to
Automata.
see what you don't like it because all the guys are idolizing her for
All
a reason.
I see online is pictures of her butt.
That's the point. We worship it.
It's fan service, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's not censor the fan service.
PS5 comes out, censors a lot of the stuff.
Yeah. I hope not.
If
But
Sony continues to censor their games, it's going to be a big RIP for their company.
Yeah, it's going to be, and it is because a lot of these fan service games, they made these games for Dead or Alive is not doing too well right now. Not doing too well on their sales on the PlayStation right now.
Devil May Cry was censored too.
Yeah,
but they uncensored it. But that was Capcom's choice. And there's
One
some
part
who
still censored.
no, they uncensored it. They unpatched it. They repatched it to take the lens flare off the second scene that was censored on the PS4.
The one scene with Lady is censored on both systems.
Yes, there's one scene that's censored on all systems, but the one scene that
only
was
in America. It's not censored in Japan. At least
no, all versions are censored. All versions. All versions.
I think it's because
Frank.
it's too close. Too close up.
But
it's
Capcom did release.
It's just a cutscene. It's not like the game is actually censored.
Like the Dead or Alive Scarlet on the PlayStation 4, on the PlayAsia, found that would be heavily censoring that. So everyone's buying on the Switch.
Yeah, because Nintendo's not going to censorship.
Mm-hmm.
Let's look. What else is here? Hold on, I got a couple other things. Hold on. Where'd we go? I lost my page.
This is one item that Grim needs in his life every month. That I'm pointing at.
You're pointing at the litter?
Yeah, bucket of litter.
So, a couple other things that happened, right? We'll see how you guys feel about this is, Bethesda, right? Bethesda. They added non-cosmetic microtransactions to Fallout 76, even though they said they never would.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, I did. I sent you in the night repair kits as well.
Yep. They're gonna drown themselves even more.
No, Bethesda makes enough money. 76 is just a dead game.
Yeah, 76.
Did you see the new meme going around about Todd Howard?
No, what is it? What is it?
About him being a creeper.
What has he done?
There was a panel for the Blades, and the way the panel was, it's like these circular tables, and then big YouTubers were just like chilling on the tables and stuff. And Todd Howard comes out of nowhere and just like creeps behind this one dude, and then the guy filmed the entire thing and the interaction.
Oh, that's hilarious. Why did he do that? Why did he do that? That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, I'm getting I'm trying to get Fallout 4 and the Year Edition and the Skyrim Legendary Edition on the Xbox.
On PC, man. On PC.
I have it on the PC. It's just that modding it up, then you gotta manually update them and everything. It's not Nexus anymore. It's called Vortex. And I like Vortex. I don't like Vortex, and it's like every time I don't play for like a year or so, all my mods are like obsolete, and I gotta go and refine them. A lot of times they don't make updates for them anymore. So I was like, why not just do it on the Xbox One, just have it all saved and it automatically updates for me at their workshop.
You have
Your
to
thoughts
manually
are
go
big
to the
and
settings to tell it to automatically update.
Yeah.
True. Hey guys, I just want to give a quick shout out to our girl Vera because Dark Tide Enterprises just went over 7,000 subscribers.
That's good. Now I can take all the 2,000 subs that I had to make clones of. Okay, we'll start
Oh
now.
my god!
I wish I even had 100.
Heck you! I just want to give a shout out to all of her hard work, and it's paying off. 7,000 subscribers right now. I know she is not going to do any type of special until the channel gets to 10,000. Hopefully, it does get to
I know a special, a pin-up poster of me they can buy for, they can try to win.
No one wants to see that.
Or a
Lance.
body pillow of me.
Lance, let me. Going back to the Sega Mini, you gonna buy one?
Let me buy the I don't know what's that, the Ouya, whatever I'm getting. You're gonna make me the
Oh,
raspberry.
you want to do Ouya?
I don't know. I don't know. I forgot what you're gonna make me when I give you the money. Let me get that first. Let me pay you for that. You get the parts and buy and make it and send it to me. Let me get that device first.
I was going to make you a RetroPie using an Odroid.
Yeah. Okay. So let me get that first from you. Then I'll have the money to get. I'll try to save up money. After that, I'm gonna try to save up my money for the Xbox One X. I'll probably just go to your house and steal it. And then
You will not get my Xbox
No,
One.
just wait until the next Xbox comes out because it's going to be announced soon anyway.
Yeah, I actually told Grim that I'm probably gonna wait till they announce that, and the price is gonna drop because no one's gonna really buy it because they're gonna save up their money for their next console like they always do.
So I think the Xbox One S is going to have a huge price drop, especially with the digital one coming out. I think that digital Xbox One S. You know what would be brilliant is if they priced it at $100. That thing would sell like crazy if they priced it at $100.
I'm not.
They're probably not because all it is it doesn't have the Blu-ray drive. So
Yeah. I
Or the
would
4K.
have the One X.
The Xbox One S has a 4K drive in it, so it can play 4K movies. Even though it doesn't push 4K games, the drive itself in it is a 4K player, so you can play 4K movies.
Yeah, I'd rather get the One X though.
Right. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens with the One X. I just don't think the One X is going to drop significantly in
No,
price.
I think it's gonna be like $250, $300. $250, $300.
I could see the Xbox One X going down to $300, but because the system is still a little bit of money for them to manufacture, I just don't believe it's going to get a huge price drop. But the Xbox One S, especially the digital edition, I think we're going to see those become really affordable and have a really low price point.
Well, remember, we hope that the new Xbox One S digital edition, hopefully it sells horribly, so they don't, so that they continue making physical discs.
So this brings me segue here. This brings me to another digital media question. Did you guys see the rumor that the next Wolfenstein game, Wolfenstein Youngblood,
on Nintendo Switch?
No, right. I don't know about well, I'm just talking about versions overall. When the rumor is, and I don't think Bethesda has actually confirmed this or denied it. I think they've just kind of ignored it. But a lot of people have said, hey, when you go out and buy the physical version of it, you get a case, but there's actually no CD or cartridge in it. It's a download code.
No, it's a Nintendo Switch. Not the
Is
PlayStation or Xbox. It's Nintendo Switch been confirmed for it.
Okay, so that is the rumor. All right, so confirm to me what the rumor is.
It's
what exactly?
RGT. I just watched it today. RGT did a video that they I think they announced that when the Switch version comes out for it, it's going to be a digital code. You have a case with a code in it, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not buying it for the Switch.
Yeah, not getting it for the Switch.
Especially, especially that limited space that's on the Switch. Nah, I'm fine. But even the previous Wolfenstein didn't play that well on the Switch, and I have it, Wolfenstein 2.
Plus, have you noticed that most special edition of games on the Switch so far have all been terrible?
Which one?
Like for example, Tales of Vesperia, the collector's edition.
I don't
It
have
came
that.
with it came with a hard case, but the troll is that the hard case is made for a CD, not for a chip.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's nuts. Yeah,
yeah,
I
yeah.
saw that. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's just basically, you know, company that's going to Switch. They want to collector, so they just have whatever I think they have lying around. They want to produce it to lose money, so I just shove that in there, I guess.
That's crazy. You know, I would have picked up the Mega Man X collection on the Switch. I would have definitely went for the Switch version if the second one wasn't a download. So
I
you know
have
what
The
I did?
Japanese version is a hard one.
Yeah, yeah, I saw
yeah,
that.
yeah. I
So you know what I
believe.
did? I went out and picked it up for the Xbox One X, and I got the version of it where they're both in one case because they did re-release it where it's X1, Collection One and Collection Two are in one case. And you know what's funny is on the case it at least has in big letters, so just so everyone knows. I think it's taking a shot at Nintendo. Maybe I don't know, but because they're all from Capcom, but it says 2 discs included in this box, meaning that you actually get a physical copy of number one and collection number two. So I was like, yep, I'll buy that. You know,
Um, for it's funny. Even though you can play Asia, I actually looked this up. Because I was like, I want to get the actual physical on one cartridges. They actually have multi languages that they sell for a Japanese edition for a lot of these games, like Mega Man edition. So you can buy it for the Switch, but you got to pay for shipping though. That's kind of like $4 or $5 more of it, but they do have multi
So
language of it.
so basically, what happens is like many games today, the console will download the game and then hold a folder for patches.
hmm
With when you get a Japanese game, because the Switch is not region locked or
Yeah.
anything. When it downloads the Japanese game, it will automatically check what language you have set, and then it will download the English patch for you.
hmm So
I mean, that's pretty cool that it does that, though. I mean,
yeah. So
that's cool.
I'm just saying, just double check with Play Asia if for multi language stuff to get everything in one cartridge. That's what I'll probably end up doing, is basically get from Play Asia now on a lot of these
And
things.
in the PAL region, they ended up with a Child of Light and it's a 2 game in one. It was Child of Light and something else. It was like the military game that played the same way, made by the same people, and it's 2 games in one in the PAL region for $20.
Mm.
And we didn't get that yet.
Do they have any plans to get it over here?
Probably not, because looking at how like the Mega Man collection, you had to download the other game and stuff like that. This will probably be the only way you can get both games physically.
hmm
That's
So just
that's
order
terrible.
it. Just order from a site and just get it from there, I guess.
Yeah, it's PAL. It's from the PAL region, so it's already English. So
Yeah. So I'll just do that. I want to get the Friday Night Trap.
The Friday Night Trap.
I don't know
What's that?
the one that was on the Sega CD.
Oh, it's Night Trap.
Yeah, Night Trap.
There was 2 versions of it. There was the Sega CD version, and then they actually released a Sega CD 32X version. So those are both the original versions. I don't really know what the difference is. Maybe they upped the resolution or not the resolution, but maybe the graphics or the frame rate on it by implementing a connection to the 32X, possibly. But yes, there was a. Did they release that on all systems? I know that
No,
there
it
was a
already
limited
released on the Switch.
and limited run games. I think did an actual physical copy.
Yeah,
like
you get it for $40 on eBay.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah,
I might pick that up just for like.
There's a collector edition, and there's an actual just a case itself. The collector edition comes with the risque kind of 80s like card you can have.
The game
of
that
a girl
went in
wearing a
front,
lingerie.
the game that went in front of Congress to cause the creation of the ESRB, although Doom and Mortal Kombat, which came out pretty quickly after, also didn't help, and like kind of like it was a storm upon a storm between Night Trap, between Doom, between Mortal Kombat. We all know why the ESB was created, which is fine with me. I have no problem with the ESRB. I'm glad it's around. You know, I'm glad it's around.
Yeah, but yeah.
Or the PEG. In Europe, it's called the PEG.
Pegging.
PEG. Sorry.
But their
thank you for
system
the correction,
is
the PEG.
similar to ours, right?
Huh?
The what?
Europe's rating system is similar to ours.
Yes, the PEGI.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's just the ages are different. Like E is for everybody here, and then E10 and up is like 8 years old there or something like that.
But the final rating, the M rating, is 17 plus in both countries, and the A rating
theirs
is
18 plus, I believe.
No, it's 17. But both systems have what's called an A rating, and A is 18 plus.
Mm-hmm.
I think they should come out with an extra rating for ESRB for like 21 plus for the type of games Lance and I would play.
Exactly.
I think 18 plus is fine because you're old enough to go out and buy those things.
Yeah, not to get into a political argument, I'll just throw this out there. I don't believe, I don't, without getting into the specifics, I don't believe in any way in the 21-year-old plus thing that goes on in the world. 18 should be it. It's age. It's, without it, I don't want to argue over it, but if you make anything that you require an age 18 older than 18, I think it's age discrimination and it's stupid. If you can go in the military, fine, then make the military age 21. If you can go in the military and die at 18, you should be able to do anything at 18. And I will never agree with any argument to the contrary. I don't agree with a 21-year-old drinking age. This is like one of the only countries that has that. And, I don't want to get into politics, but that's just basically how I feel.
Well, can I say this without being political? Okay. It's not political at all, but would you say it's easier to it's harder to get into the military than it is to buy a video game?
No.
I don't know. It's pretty hard to get into the military in the United States.
No.
They are so selective.
No. Okay, different branches, yes, but you fail. Okay, I'll tell you from my perspective that even true to right now that I have been through the system. I trained recruits and everything else. It is not a person that is dumber than a bag of nails can join the military. Can join the Air Force, and I met them. They know how to use a hammer or a screwdriver is.
But they have.
I wasn't saying intellectually. I meant physically.
No, not really. You don't, because Air Force. You don't. Do you see any buff guys in the Air Force?
Not really.
Okay. Do you see buff guys in the Marines?
Yes.
They eat crayons. So you have that. Actually, there's a lot of smart Marines. But usually the infantrymen aren't that bright.
Well, like what I meant by like the military being harder to get into and buying a video game. What I meant was you have to actually file paperwork and do all that kind of stuff. Whereas buying a video game, you just go straight to a store and then buy it. So in terms of that, that's what I meant. It's easier to buy a video game in that case.
Yeah, well, you have to do paperwork even though you grow up and get a job and stuff like that. But other than that, it is easy to get video games, but also it's a parent's damn job to make sure these rated games are meant for that kid, or stuff like that.
Buying a rated M game for a 10-year-old.
Yeah, even though I played a rated M game when I was 10. You know what?
Children of the times of when you grew up were a lot different than today.
Yeah.
People when you grow up, where parents were stricter and they actually counseled their children about what sort of thing that they're consuming.
Yeah.
I played Silent Hill as a kid.
Well, I can say as a Generation Xer, my parents just let me have and do whatever I wanted. Although I wasn't like a troublemaker, but
Yeah,
that, you know.
I was a wild
And
child.
it was when I was a little kid. There was no ESRB and there was no rating on games. So you know, it is what it is. So hey, next maybe going to the final topic here, and I think it's an important one because it has to do with the industry overall, right?
Oh.
Did you guys see the earning reports for GameStop?
Yes, they lost several $1 million, I believe.
Well, no, yes, several is an understatement. They lost another. They lost like over $100 million again.
Yeah, they're you know, they're going to be another blockbuster. If it was 2-3 years ago, there's a way to reverse it. Now it's just too late. It's just too late.
They actually showed the the decline in different categories. They were down like 25% in used game sales.
Mm-hmm.
And think about that, right? 25% in used game sales. Used game sales were their bread and butter. That's how they made most of their
bread
money.
and butter 10 years ago, not today.
Yeah.
Because they're more known for ripping you off for trading in games now.
If they, give like the value of the game 50 to 60% of it, then you make that 20-30% extra on top of that. But instead of they give you like getting a fraction of it, it's like, okay, I got like, let's say I got as a while ago, it's like a year ago when Crash Bandicoot when it came out was, I believe, was like no, let's do a $60 game that I know. Okay, let's say a $60 game, right? That came out as a AAA title. You play it for a day or two and you trade it in. So the most you get out of that is about $10 to $15. Unless you get store credit, that's $20 of it. So you do the math, it's like, no, it's like
another thing about it is they try and lie about the condition of the game that you're handing to them. They're like, oh, well, there's a couple surface scratches on this disc. We cannot trade this immediately. We would have to send this in and then put it into a disc resurfacer and then send it back here. Well, actually, it's not true because if it was that seriously damaged, it would be cheaper just to go to a local library that stores CDs and stuff, because all libraries that store CDs have their own disc resurfacer in the back. You just pay them a couple bucks in the library, and then they'll do it for you, and then trade it in as if it was brand new.
Or just buy it for like $10 on Amazon.
I mean, that's a cool. The library.
But disc resurfacer will damage the disc.
No, not this specific kind. This kind is meant to preserve the disc, not actually like burn it like most surfacers do.
Yeah, there are some very expensive surf. I mean, Lance Post is talking about like $3,000 to $5,000 resurfacers, not like the $200, $100 pieces of crap that you buy on Amazon.
Can I wipe my ass with it?
Oh my God! Why would you say that in the podcast? Why would you say that in the middle of the podcast?
Yeah, well, to have a little comedy and humor. But even though they say that, but they never do it. I got freaking used games from them. They're still scratched and everything looked to hell. They say they clean out. I bought like a pre-owned console from them. Open that sucker up. It's like dirty as hell than I ever seen. And sometimes a dead cockroach is in there. Here and there, I'm like, refurbish my butt.
As far as I can throw them.
And GameStop today doesn't even know how to properly refurbish a piece of electronic. Like I told you about the time about my friend that opened his PlayStation 4, and they didn't apply thermal paste; they put a thermal pad on it.
Yeah, you did tell us, and that's pretty crazy because that's such a simple thing to do correctly. And the fact that they didn't do it correctly is just like beyond my mind. I don't know how else to say it. I mean, it's such a simple thing to do correctly. Hey, I just want to mention here that some of the things GameStop is saying is that the sales for the Xbox One, the PS4, and the Nintendo Switch consoles are slowing down, and that's been hurting them a lot.
No.
But I can see that yes, the Xbox One, the PS4 consoles might be slowing down, might be.
No,
But the
yeah.
Nintendo Switch is still selling like crazy. It's still it's not even at its half life. So
Yeah.
how can they claim that the Nintendo Switch isn't selling well?
Like, how much money do they get for selling a console?
They don't get a lot.
Well,
Okay, then you cannot say
but they don't get a lot. Hold on, they don't get a lot for selling a new game. As someone who was in the industry, remember I owned game stores.
Yeah.
Okay, and I did deal with video games as well as Magic and tabletop. When we would buy a new version of a game, let's say a game that's supposed to be $59.99 is coming out, after shipping, we were literally paying $51 for that game. And these distributors were telling us that no, GameStop is not getting a better deal. GameStop is only making around $10 profit on a brand new game.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that GameStop did get over us though is that, let's say Activision decided for Black Friday that their newly released Call of Duty game, which is $60, they're going to have it on sale for $40 for Black Friday. Well, they would compensate Best Buy and GameStop for the difference. But small stores like I had, local gaming stores like I had, no, we just got screwed. We didn't get compensated. So if we paid $51 for a game, but for those 2 weeks, or even for a permanent downgrade on the price to $40, we lost. They wouldn't help us at all, which sucks because they don't care about independent locally game stores.
Yeah. It's one of those things. I really don't care if GameStop becomes another Xbox. It was a nice time seeing them going up and down, but now it's just like it's getting to a point like I can just get better deals on eBay or Amazon. And it's
the timing too for when the Switch came out too, like what I said earlier, that they haven't been good at trading games in for a decade, and overall their quality and service has been degrading. So when the Switch came out, it's safe to say that the damage is already done, and people refuse to take business over to GameStop. Plus, that same year that the Switch came out, Black Friday, which is when majority of people buy their electronics in a year, like that quarter of the year, Target, Walmart, and all of them had better deals, like combinations and stuff like that. Like Target, I think, had the hard carrying case and the extra controllers and stuff like that, or something like that. And then the very next year, Toys R Us went out of business, so everybody went to Toys R Us and raided their games.
Toys R Us thing, man, that hit has been hard.
I'm just waiting for the liquidation sale, and I'm just going to take like $500-$600 and buy as much of these games, and they're going to be like 50 to 75% off. All must go. I'm just waiting for that right now, and I will not miss or shed a tear to GameStop at all, because there's other ways I can get better, cheaper games. It's just it's getting to a point that it's getting to a point because now it's gonna be all digital, and now we have all these physical games. Now we gotta find out if these games are actually gonna be worth money in the long run in 10-20 years from now.
Let me throw a theory out at you guys, and Lance and Post, see what you think. There's been an idea thrown around out there, and I know there's some YouTubers that put up videos about this, but trust me when I say that they're not the ones that came up with this idea, Lance. A way to save GameStop in a day and age where everything's going digital is GameStop needs to actually use the limited run model, meaning that GameStop should become a publisher themselves, so that as games go digital, they need to start doing and get into the market that limited run games has gotten into. So if a game is only coming out digital, then GameStop makes deals with these publishers and says, "Hey, we'll make a physical copy of it, and we're going to sell it out of our stores and online." And basically, this is the new GameStop. It might put limited run games out, because if I was GameStop, I'd go straight after that market. I'd go after limited run games, either buy them out or just push them out of the market. But it seems to me that that's maybe a solid idea, right? As everything goes digital, GameStop becomes the next limited run games, and then they take it to the next level.
There's a lot of holes in that plan.
Well, I mean,
Plus, GameStop is very.
It works for limited run games.
Yeah, it works for them, but it's, GameStop used to have very good clientele. Now they don't have much good clientele anymore.
But they could bring back that clientele by offering a physical version of a game that was only going to come out digital. No. They'd be basically bringing in the clientele that buys from limited run games. Mm-hmm. So they'd be bringing in a whole new group of people. So I'm not worried about what clientele they've lost or what clientele they've pissed off. They'd be literally bringing in a whole new group of people.
I think my theory, it may not work out that they're going to try it, is close pretty much all the stores, everything in a warehouse inventorized, and basically start somewhere that then reopen a very few stores again, and have like a pop culture store.
Pop culture doesn't sell.
Well, and then lay off all them people.
Yeah,
that will hit the economy.
Well, again, either way, with GameStop's gone, it's going to hit the economy too. Either way, it's gonna go down, and and GameStop is basically trying to sell their company, and no one wants it because it's so far down in the ground, and no one wants to touch it right now.
So you're thinking of the ThinkGeek stores. So GameStop some years back had bought ThinkGeek.
Yeah.
ThinkGeek is one of those.
Also, they had MovieStop.
Well, ThinkGeek got rid of movies, so GameStop's not dealing with movies anymore.
They had GameStop, MovieStop, and ThinkGeek.
Yeah, so MovieStop is gone. They don't do movies anymore. But ThinkGeek is alive and well, and they're in malls around here. And even as they start pulling out GameStops out of malls, they're keeping the ThinkGeeks in the malls. Mm-hmm. I wonder how long that's going to last. But ThinkGeek sells all of this pop culture stuff, like Funko Pops and T-shirts, all of this stuff that's literally available everywhere. And this is something that I can speak to from owning a comic book gaming store and being in that industry. They're selling the same type of stuff that basically I was selling. And when I started, it was not nearly as popular as it is today. So when I started selling Funko Pops back in like 2012, when I had opened my first store and I was coming from a larger corporation that was also kind of a pop culture store, Funko Pops, they weren't, they were a new thing, and everyone was like, "Oh my God, Pops, Funko Pops." You know what? You can buy Funko Pops in gas stations now. You can get these T-shirts at gas stations. So this stuff,
problem with it is that GameStop's not only going against other competitors, also their online service sucks, their online store sucks. It's just they had to compete. I get better deals on Amazon than GameStop.
PlayAsia has some pretty good deals sometimes.
Yeah. But no, we're not arguing that. I'm just talking about the point that trying to stay on topic here.
Yeah.
The point that the pop culture stuff is not going to save GameStop, because the pop culture stuff is one of the reasons why, not the only reason, because we all know about the investment fiascos that were behind the closing of Toys R Us, like Bain Capital and all those other companies that basically bled that company dry. But on top of it, they were selling stuff that you can get anywhere, and they were selling it at too high a price. and this stuff is everywhere. Think Geek is going to fail. It's going to fail.
You saw that
So-
Think Geek did the Mega Man bundle, I believe, for and it was like crap. What was it? The Nintendo Cloud? Well, I forgot the version of the Nintendo Cloud Entertainment System that came out. They were so limited of it. And so they just tried to bundle everything with the Think Geek stuff for it.
Yeah, I remember that. And I think that that's kind of dirty. They're saying that, hey, if you want this, and it's available not anywhere else, everyone's sold out of stock of this item. Oh, but if you get it from us, you have to buy another $300 worth of stuff.
Yeah.
I think that that's kind of that's a dirty way to, that's a dirty business model in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I never partake in that. And you know what? I'd wait till the item I want has a higher availability. I'm not going to fall for that. Hell with falling for that. You know?
I bought the Super Nintendo Classic first. Then I bought the NES Classic later because I know it's going to come out later on.
Yeah, they re-released them in a much higher number.
Yeah.
And I know they're out of print now, but you know what? Even though they're out of print, you can still get them for the normal price. They're all over the internet for the normal price.
Also,
you know?
Walmart still has them in my area.
Yeah, see what I mean? So yeah, they're still out there. Walmart, by the way, has your PlayStation Classic. The Walmart in my area has it for $39.99. That's why I'm expecting you to take that off the shelf and smash it.
Well, go buy and you can smash your own.
No, I don't want to spend the money. I'm drowning in bills.
That will be there'll be at games pretty much across the top in the middle of the aisle. And I'm also gonna get that Dragon Quest 11 for the Nintendo Switch right next to it.
Oh my god!
That'll be
you know
a
what?
big sign that says.
I'm worried about Dragon Quest on the Nintendo Switch because I'm worried about it dropping frames and not being able to keep up with the
I'm just
PS4
glad
version.
Devil May Cry is not going on the Nintendo Switch.
I don't think the Nintendo. I think that would be a disaster. I don't know if the engine behind
the
Nintendo
engine's going to be too taxing on hardware.
I just don't think that the Tegra chip can handle that engine. So
probably not.
Hey, you want to get into that? Segue into. I know we wanted to talk about something that RGT85 had said in the video about YouTubers. So why don't we talk about that quick since it's 12:07, and let's just talk about that quick. And hey, we're not calling anyone out, so we're not going to name names or name channels or anything like that.
I have not seen this video of what you're talking about.
And this is not just RGT85 talking about this, but this is a lot of YouTubers talking about this, and it basically, and I'll let Lance say his piece about it, but it has to do with the fact that YouTube is getting flooded with content creators, both in the video game industry and for me in post, which we're heavily involved in a little more of a niche niche group, which is the Magic the Gathering content creators.
Oh, I've been seeing. Because I got some MTG creators. I'm like, I'm gonna quit unless I'm gonna have to quit YouTube if I don't get the views. I'm looking like 500. It's
so this is an overall problem. So Lance, why don't you fill us in and then I'll get into it myself on what you were talking about. And remember, don't name anyone. Don't do anything.
We're not going to name anyone or pay anyone a spotlight. I think some of you guys will actually learn from this as well, because I know some of you guys have a small channel.
Yeah, some like Fire Phoenix and whatnot, and I know you guys are trying to get subs. So anyway, you go ahead and tell us what you think.
Okay. When you start YouTube, do it for fun. You do not do it for a career. There is a very, very small percentage that people will make it out and make money out of it. I started this YouTube channel just for a hobby and just to have fun because I have a lot of health and mental issues. I see it as a way to socialize with other people because I have a hard time going outside and socializing with other people due to my anxiety and so on and so forth. A lot of these people feel like they're entitled to everything that has to be handed on a silver spoon. That's not how real world works. Life is going to be hard. If you want to become something, you work on something. Don't give up in doing it for it as well. I've seen YouTubers that did this for 7-8 years finally got 10,000 subscribers and they're happy about it. If you're not happy, for what you're doing, making content, and you suspect getting subs and views, then don't make content, because it's a gamble. I was 600 and some odd for over 2 years, finally able to break it. I just do what I do. I just become me. I'm not going to fan service people or someone for it. It is something that you gotta know.
My channel too.
Yeah, it is one of those things that do it for fun. If you enjoy it, great. Do it as a hobby. If you get big, you get big. Go for that full time if you get big. But also gotta remember, the world is tough outside. So as the internet as well.
Very, very
Don't
tough.
cry about it. Don't blame. Don't blame about it.
Like
No one's entitled to anything. Just letting you know. You think I got all this because I'm entitled to it? No, I worked my ass off for it. I had to get several jobs. I worked in the military. I went to several countries. Accumulated what I have now. I lost a hell of a lot more than what I have up there, but you know what? I'm still alive, aren't I? Still making content. I'm still talking to you guys. I'm happy that you guys there to support me. I'm always out there to support you guys as well, but I'm never going to be blaming you guys for anything. I might blame you guys for cursing and stuff. That's a different story. Other than that, have fun what you do. Don't blame anyone else but yourself if you're not going up. Also, I know you're battling against millions and millions of people making the same videos and content.
There are literally 50 million content creators on YouTube.
Yeah, 50 million. 1 out of 50 million. Look at what's the odds. It's like, what's the odds for the lottery?
Even in the Magic the Gathering community, I have one YouTube account where it's just all Magic creators, and I have like 1,000 subs on that account, and they're just Magic creators, and that just goes to show you how congested the field is, And the reason why we're kind of bringing this up is because RGT85 in his video made a great point, and it's something that me and Lance have been talking about and we've been seeing more and more from content creators. It's what did RGT say? That after a certain amount of time, when certain creators feel that they haven't gotten the views they want, they haven't gotten the subs they want, he said it himself. They get salty, meaning they get angry. They their personalities change, and they throw tantrums. And it makes it seem like they're saying, well, I put out content, so I'm entitled to be getting these views.
No.
I'm entitled.
No one's entitled.
No one's entitled to anything.
I have over 5,000 video within 2 years. That's a lot of videos, a lot of content with that short amount of time making it. So am I entitled to it? No, hell no. If you're like one that diamond dozen and needle in a haystack, yeah, sure, why not? You're entitled. YouTube will make you entitled. Other than that, no, you gotta work your butt for it.
I'm happy where I'm at on my channel.
I'm happy. If I get bigger, I'm happy with that too.
I truly started my channel really back in November, and the short amount of months that I've really been going at it, I got 70 subscribers so far. I'm happy with that it's steadily, slowly growing.
It's one of those things. Be humble. I forgot one of the subscriber told me. I forgot. I think his name was DJ Gamers. I believe was it. It says be humble. It's like you're always humble. I'm like, yeah, I'm humble. Because everyone's like, can I donate to you? Like, sure. But I'm like, but if you're under the age of 18, ask your parents. But also, use that money on yourself. I don't really need the money. You guys use that money to go out. If you have a girlfriend, take her out to the movies or something. But other than that, it's like, if you really want to donate. If you want to give me a game, that's great. But if you ask me, I'm probably going to say no, because I'm a type of person that don't like to receive. I like to give things away. That's what I do, the giveaway.
I love to support small channels, and I watch small channels more than I do big channels. I really do. But the one thing that kills me and turns me off is the second I see a video that goes up where someone's complaining about their views, or someone's complaining about their subs, or especially if the video says, I'm quitting so-and-so, I don't watch it. I click on
I'm a sub to you.
I'm done.
Looks
I
like
click unsub.
looks like I got
I'm
a sub,
gone.
Grim.
Oh, thank you. Even though I don't post videos on this channel, but I appreciate the sub
No.
100%. Man.
The Dark Titan Enterprise link is down the link below. Sub to him. Tell him Lance.
Yeah.
Let's tell him that our Lord and Savior Lance is here to save you. Just type that in their comments. Just a hell of a way. And also Ashley from Ashley Art Fantasies. She does a lot of artworks and stuff. She does, if you ask her nicely, I mean nicely, and do kind of requests for a drawing, she might be doing that as well. Just like, you know, but you have to be very nice.
Fire Phoenix, I just posted a link.
Mm-hmm.
That is the channel that you should sub to get to me. Definitely sub to Cinder. Cinder does a lot of great content as well. He plays Final Fantasy, which I love because I love Final Fantasy. Thank you for playing those games, Cinder. I really appreciate it. I have
streams every night late.
Yeah, I have watched almost all of you. Even though I'm not always in the live chat, Cinder, I always go back and watch at least some of the replays of the Final Fantasy stuff because I love Final Fantasy.
I just sub to Cinder and wrote a comment on one of his videos.
Yeah, Cinder is a great Magic player. He lives up in Canada, and
send me a Black Lotus. We'll be even bestest friends.
I know exactly.
Yeah,
why don't we,
his dad's Black Lotus.
Huh?
Your dad, doesn't he have the Black Lotus?
Yes, he does. He has all my power of 9. It's supposed to be mine, like the Porsche 911, 1973. It's supposed to be mine when I finished high school. Instead, he sold it.
And if you haven't, here's the link to Cinder's channel.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Anyway, I mean, this is what it comes down to. Like, you know, you do it as a hobby, and anyway, there seems to be more and more of these smaller YouTubers that are basically, you know, I hate to use the word salty because it's kind of like
you know what? We know what business we can go into.
They're getting angry.
Yeah.
You know, don't get angry. Stop.
Grim.
Stop.
Grim, you know what business we can get into? Make a lot of money selling it online.
What's that?
A seasoning called YouTube Salty Tears.
Oh my god.
We'll make millions.
We'll make millions. Anyway, I just for some last comments, post what do you think about all of this? About what we've been talking about?
Well, yeah, like about the whole getting big thing. Once you're big, don't let the numbers get to your head.
Yeah.
Because then it'll be a turn off for everybody. I know a few people that instantly switched as soon as they saw the big numbers and all that. It's very disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing is when you do get big, if you ever get big,
be humble.
Don't rush to making it a full-time thing either.
Mm-hmm.
Because YouTube is a platform known for when the algorithm changes.
Ooh.
You know, YouTube in 2019 is not like YouTube in 2005
like
when it first came out. In 2005, YouTube didn't have any monetization at all. It didn't happen until 2007 when Google came to 40 different creators and said, "Oh, you guys can make some videos, we'll pay you for it so that we can get advertisers to appeal to the site."
Mm-hmm.
You know? And then the Adocalypse came out in 2013. 2013 is when the first Adocalypse came out. Everybody was getting screwed left and right. You know, the littlest thing can get you demonetized. Ads would be taken out of your, channel and stuff. And then just recently, there was a YouTuber, I'm not going to say his name because I don't want to give him the luxury of, advertising his channel. But he came out with a video saying that how, people are taking advantage of children on the site, and a lot more advertisers were taken off the site, So that's the second Adocalypse. Things could change. Maybe in a couple of years, YouTube won't even exist, and everybody be on Twitch. Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah, that's true. For me, I'm able to do this full time problem
Each community
because I get retirement pay.
All the art community does not rely on YouTube. They rely on the commissions and the sales of their prints and original artwork. That's what they rely
So
on.
basically, actually, you're saying that a lot of the stuff that's put out on YouTube in the art community is more for marketing and promotion to kind of steer people towards the commissions and that type of stuff.
Some of the art communities not too happy about YouTube because they're considering what we consider to be art. YouTube is now considering to be nudity.
Yeah, that's terrible. That's the whole censorship argument. Yeah.
You can't show a cartoonish mermaid's breast. It has to be censored out.
That's fine. Just draw Grim and a mermaid.
Oh my God!
We'll call it a sea cow.
You can draw a fat old me in a bikini. But that you know what? You know how much money you're gonna get?
Oh.
You're gonna get a ton of money just to make it go away.
A we'll call it we'll name it the red bearded sea cow.
Go away. You know, I think on the opposite end, the Post made a lot of great points there. That's all very true. You know, it's all very true. You got to diversify. If you get big, you got to diversify. You got to make sure you have several different types of revenue streams. Because who knows? With the history that we all know, the history of YouTube and the apocalypses, who knows?
Yeah.
And those are some great points. Anyway, it is getting to be 12:20.
Minecraft's going to be at 1 o'clock in the morning.
I think we should sign off. Very happy to have Post-Apocalyptic Game on the podcast now every Sunday. Hopefully he'll be able to join us most Sundays. He is a permanent fixture here.
Don't worry, just give him a shock collar. If he doesn't obey, we just shock him.
I know, exactly. He plays Pathfinder and possibly some other games with me and Lance.
Call of Cthulhu's game is coming up.
Yep.
So we just need to get
for those of you who don't know, he is an engineer, so he brings a lot of different types of expertise to the table that we can talk about, which is great. Post, what are you currently doing in your life?
Nothing much worth like advertising, you know.
Understood, but you know what? It doesn't matter. Your background is good enough, and just your ability to keep up with all the current stuff in tech really helps out, and it's going to be a big plus to the podcast.
So Post, how's that robot going out that all the specification that I wanted for it?
What?
Secret robot, that actually cannot know about.
Oh, yeah.
Are you guys making,
that'll be it. That's all the time we have. Subscribe to their channels, everything else.
It's a robot to stay in makeup.
Yep. It's one of our projects.
We are actually signing off. So if you want a topic, definitely hold it for us for next week, and we'll address it.
All right.
So
want to see my friends? Yeah, post on Discord, Blue Rose. All right. Subscribe, like, share.
Subscribe, like, and share. Definitely go to everyone's channel.
Yeah, there are links down below.
Actually, Art Fantasy, this channel as well, and maybe one day we'll get Post a channel. Although Post will probably be doing some stuff for us for the RPG channel when it goes live.
He'll make a mukbang for us.
He's a huge RPGer. And Post, if you're game, we'd love to have you, getting on content on the RPG channel we're setting up. We hope that
it'll be a mukbang, man. You'll be eating a big bowl of ramen next to a couple D&D stuff. All right, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great day. Signing out.